All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg, live in the heat wave. 2022 is 150,000 degrees outside. I feel like I'm on the surface of the sun itself, but we're going to navigate that stress. What's that?
It is a Star Wars gigapet
Happy's
That you're
that, I,
using as a
that I'm using as
fan.
a fan. It's the only flat, firm surface near me that I can
Hey,
use as a fan.
you should
But it
bring.
makes no noises.
I think Jess is bringing 5 gigapets with her.
For real?
Yeah,
Oh, she's traveling.
she
traveling with
collects them, and
pets?
she's like, "I'm bringing these." Sent me a picture, and I'm like, "You're bringing all of those?"
I love it. I
might.
love it.
I might bring one
She's
of these
bringing
then
a
and turn
bunch.
it on.
Yeah,
For
you
those
should.
of you who don't
Still
know what we're
working.
talking about, we are on the cusp of a week in Martha's Vineyard,
Martha's
or
V.
or yeah,
Martha's V, as I call it.
and we're gonna be having a lot of fun, relaxing, drinking tropical fruity drinks, hanging at the beach,
Virgin daiquiris and pina coladas.
and also eating delicious food, seeing Jaws filming locations. This is basically like taking Jake. This is Jake's Mecca. This is his
Yeah.
pilgrimage. He goes.
It's kind of like taking the bow off.
Oh my god. Yes.
Let me say hi to everybody. Abigail, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to take Jake to his favorite place, his Mecca, and have a sojourn together.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a sojourn. Jake, how are you feeling? You excited about this trip?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been wanting to go back. I've been to Martha's Vineyard twice. It was both for Jaws events, so it was like stuff to do, panels to get to, screenings, stuff like that.
Right,
Um,
right.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be nice to go. This will be the longest amount of time I've spent there, and to just do what we want with all my 3 best friends is great. So I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited to I don't know. I'm excited that you guys are getting to go.
Me too.
Me too.
I'm excited. There's not going to be one morning where it's like, okay, what time do we have to get up?
Yeah.
It's like,
What time do we have to get in line for
we
something?
wake up, we go
I just-
out, we're in Jaws.
Yeah.
The thought of going
We're
to
in
the
Jaws. Yep.
Exactly.
No, listen.
Exactly.
northeastern beach town getaway, a Martha's Vineyard. What are some of the other ones?
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
Oh, where does the Camp David? Or
Camp David, where the president lives.
What is
yeah,
that?
isn't it?
Yeah. No, just any a Montauk. I've always wanted to go to one of these towns and just kind of
You said
disconnect.
that
Are
really
you-
well.
Are you gonna make fun of the way they talk the whole time we're there?
No,
like,
he
no,
won't.
I
That's
want it.
insensitive.
do
I
it to
want
their
to talk
face.
like that. I want people to be like, "Whoa, is he one of the Kennedys?
Okay.
Is that
You
John
wanna
F. Kennedy?
assimilate?
Is
Okay.
John F. Kennedy here?" That's what they're gonna say when they see me.
I don't think so.
Hi, people of Martha's Vineyard. I'm here.
That feels
I'm-
like a
I'm-
George
I'm
Costanza
back.
plan.
I'm John F. Kennedy, and I'm back, baby. No, I'm
Flesh.
excited. I'm absolutely excited. I cannot wait. We'll have plenty of pictures and video and stuff. And like we were talking about this beforehand with on Patreon. But if you're not part of the YHS Patreon, now would be a great time to join up. $5 a month. You're going to go to Yes Have Some on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Yes Have Some. One of the many features of being part of the Patreon is the exclusive YHS Patreon Instagram. We're going to have tons of photos of our journey, videos, reels, all sorts of stuff. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah,
Wow,
Jake,
it's all we talk about now.
it's all we talk about.
God, it's like we're all just behind a paywall. Hey, if anyone heard a cat meowing, that was my cat Gizmo.
What's he doing? He's excited for the
He's
new.
communicating.
I didn't hear him.
He's
wants to be
excited
on
for
the podcast.
the Gremlins animated series. I think it's premiering at a festival this week.
He is. He's happy that he's the inspiration for that.
Exactly. So we'll talk about Gremlins another time. Although I gotta say, I've been seeing these what was it, the Brain Gremlin? I saw it again at the NECA Brain Gremlin at Walmart. Jake, did you pick that thing up yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I saw it the one time with you, but we were I think that was right before we were going to California, and I was like, I don't need to be buying a toy right now. I haven't seen it locally yet, but I will pick that up. I think they also just revealed the Demolition Gremlins are coming out, like a 2-pack
cool.
of. I think you can buy them right now. It's like
I wish it was like the old WWF tag team Demolition. They had like face paint on, like tongue out. NECA's killing it. I'm so excited. Like we're going to Comic-Con in a month. first time ever going out to San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm really, really looking forward to being completely overwhelmed and flabbergasted and
not sick.
and not sick.
The-
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
The day before we leave, Abby's like, "What's Jake coming up for tomorrow?"
Oh, you have to expose this. This is great. I didn't know that we were leaving for Martha's Vineyard tomorrow. I thought I had written on my calendar that I follow. I wrote the trip was starting on Monday. So just, I didn't fact check with anyone.
I'll put it this way:
I just
the
thought
next-
we were leaving in like
the
3
first
days.
couple days are like, it's like the previews, basically. It's the trailers for the trip. We'll have some fun. We'll see some stuff.
Yeah.
Hell, maybe we'll go to an Olive Garden. I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens.
I told
We
you all.
should-
I downloaded a podcast about Olive Garden.
And if
We
anybody,
should-
go for it.
I was just gonna say we should see how many Olive Gardens we can eat at between Friday and Monday morning.
Well, listen.
Collect them.
Here's
I
the
bet
deal.
it's 6. I bet we could do 6.
I want to put out a challenge to anybody who's listening to this before this weekend. If you're on our route, take us out to dinner. Don't be cheap.
Take us to Olive Garden. That way we can get pasta to
Take
go
us to
and have a
dinner.
meal later.
If you are in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Connecticut, Pennsylvania, anywhere on the East Coast,
Take us
please
out.
come on.
Just
And
take
I mean
us.
a good dinner. I don't want any
Not
mac
one of
and
those
cheese.
I want a
ones.
meal, Jerry.
No soup.
You were supposed to take me to a nice place like Mindy's. Well, listen, let's get into this. We're we wanted to make sure to talk about Jurassic World, Dominion. It is out. It is in theaters. It is making a ton of money, and it's crazy. Like, the Jurassic franchise is one of our premier, top 3 franchises that we do talk about and love. Unfortunately, with so much going on, with Ghostbusters and Star Wars, it's kind of like it kind of snuck up on us a little bit. Like I knew the movie was coming out, but like I wasn't caught up in like the hype train. I after that first trailer, I didn't really pay too much attention. But we're going to talk about Dominion. So if you haven't seen it, we are going to go spoiler heavy. But I think a lot of our listeners have probably seen it.
It's been out for a full 7 days at this point.
Mhm.
Sure.
We covered JP on our 3rd episode. For those of you who are like keeping track. Of
Yeah,
things. So, it's always
we
been
did full
part of-
breakdowns early, like first week of Yes Have Some. We had
Yeah.
Jurassic Park breakdowns, and
Delete those.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to listen to them. I was just saying if people listen,
no, they're
know,
fine.
They've probably seen it.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
We started in Jurassic Park. I wish I wouldn't have done that.
I know. You've been doing it, but you've been.
Is that
self-correcting.
Is that a Boba Fett? Are you trying to do Boba Fett?
Left in the sands of the Dilophosaurus area.
Gotta ride that.
Hey, by the way, what was my joke about the Dilophosaurus the other day? I had a good joke. What was it? Something about his frills. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, it was. The joke was no frills.
Yeah. Good one.
That was
Greg.
the punchline. We'll remember it later.
Good one.
Backwards.
Pretty-
Hey, write us a joke.
Yeah, write us a joke about a Dilophosaurus. We'll post it on Twitter.
Best
it's like, I think-
Dilophosaurus joke.
What's the best dinosaur to travel with?
What?
Dilophosaurus because it's no frills. Oh, it doesn't have frills? Oh my god, I didn't think about this before I said it.
Was that Craig's joke?
Hey, I've been trying to do jokes recently.
Oh man. So listen, I really want to break this down. This is the 3rd movie in the Jurassic World trilogy, the 6th Jurassic Park / World movie overall. Jake, I'm going to start with you. This is a very important franchise to you. It's something that you're deeply passionate about.
Sure.
The thing I always like to ask, what was your feelings going into this movie? Like what was your headspace? Kind of walk us through that old brain of yours. That dinosaur brain.
Fortunately, Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom really helped in lowering my expectations for this
Secret to
film.
life.
I like Jurassic World, the first one, but I've said before, I like it, but it's not Jurassic Park. It's not as good as Jurassic Park.
Sure.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom had some good ideas in it, but overall is maybe my least favorite of the entire series. This movie turned out kind of exactly how I thought it was gonna. I was like, you know what? It's gonna have some fun stuff in it. It's gonna have some good looking stuff in it. The original cast will be back, but it's not gonna be great. and that's what it is. It's fine. I enjoyed it. I had some fun in certain parts of it. Overall, though, I mean, it's not a very good movie. It kind of, these three films have kind of gotten worse as they've gone on, and I don't know. It's like watching Mission Impossible with dinosaurs, and it's so far away from where the franchise started. But also it had Grant and Ellie and Ian, and it was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful.
All right.
There
you go. Abigail.
My turn. Well, for me going into the movie, I had very, very low expectations, even probably lower than Jake. I think I've said on the podcast a couple times, I'm just like, it's too many characters. It's going to be too many storylines to juggle. The fact that it's the sixth,
which it was, yeah.
Yeah, that it's got just a lot kind of going against it. So that's what I thought going into it. But when I walked out of the theater, I can quote myself as saying, I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the new additional characters. I don't have any of the cast names up, but I really liked a lot of the new additions.
We'll do like a little tail of the tape. And
I thought it was a very good feeling movie. It had like kind of a family sentiment to it, like about keeping everybody hold on to somebody. That was one of the lines in the movie. And I just kind of liked that. I thought it was a lovable movie and not perfect, but and maybe not necessary, but very enjoyable.
Yeah. I thought all three of us laughed multiple times. Like there was some
good laughs.
But here's the thing though. I can't remember what any of the things that made me laugh were, but I remember like it's 6 different times all three of us laughing at something. I just don't remember what they were.
I think Jeff Goldblum was one of them.
He was probably all of them, but I can't remember the specifics, which is not good.
So
exactly.
I'm gonna say it.
Do it.
Fuck this movie.
Whoa!
Honestly, like I like. Sure, did I enjoy parts of it? Yeah, there's enjoyable things. It's always fun to see dinosaurs. I like the core story of Jurassic Park, like the fundamental stripping away all the BS, like the story of the irresponsibility of man to genetically engineer these creatures that do not belong here and the consequences that we will suffer because of it. I love that.
Yes.
And guess what? The first Jurassic Park, one of my all-time favorite movies. Lost World, I still really like Lost World.
It's great.
Jurassic Park 3, not perfect, still fun. You got Sam Neill, you've got friend of the podcast, Trevor Morgan, you got William H. Macy, who I don't know
Kirby's.
what movies. You got the Kirby's. Like in there's like I have some nostalgia because that movie came out in a time when I was just like in high school or whatever. I have complex feelings about this second part of the trilogy. Jurassic World has actually grown on me a little bit over the years. I think I like it more now than I did. I think there's some it's interesting to see like, okay, they're going to reopen Jurassic Park. It is now Jurassic World, kind of like doing that soft reboot of it's a theme park. It's bigger. It's better. Disaster still happens. Like that. And there's some good performances in that movie. I really disliked Fallen Kingdom. I can't even bring myself to rewatch it. I find it to be kind of bleak. Not scary. I mean, the biggest missing element of all of this is if you go back to the 93 movie, it is legitimately terrifying.
Gave me nightmares.
Well, that's...
I remember.
And I just...
No, I just remember coming into my science co-op and telling everyone that I'd seen it. I was very proud of it. And also in my heart knowing I am so scared of it. I love it.
Well,
and
that's been my biggest issue with these movies since the first Jurassic World. I love the T-Rex and I'm going to root for the T-Rex because I love the T-Rex. But I don't like how in the first Jurassic World, they set her up as like the hero of the story, even though she's kind of the hero of the original film.
Sure.
But if you go back and watch the original Jurassic Park, there is a 15-minute segment in that movie where the T-Rex breaks out And like you just said, Craig, it is terrifying. You have to like,
Mhm.
we're all adults now. That movie, I remember closing my eyes during that when I saw it when I was 8 years old. I remember seriously closing my eyes and then like being annoyed, and I made my mom take me to see it again because I was like, oh, well, I missed part of it. And she's like, well, you missed part because you closed your fucking eyes, you idiot.
Guys.
Well,
But,
you should have told me how
Yeah.
scary it was.
I remember
Mom.
having like a serious talk with my brother about it. Like, were you scared?
But I mean,
I
like,
was really scared.
but the T-Rex scene in the original Jurassic Park it's played like a horror film. And
It
then
is.
the Velociraptors are super scary in the first movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then let's cut to Jurassic World. The Velociraptors are good guys now. They're all on
Lost
they're
World or Jurassic World?
Jurassic
Jurassic
World.
World.
Jurassic World,
That's what I
sorry.
meant. Jurassic World.
About Julianne
We,
Moore.
we
sorry.
cut to Jurassic World. The Velociraptors they're running alongside Owen on his motorcycle, he's doing sign language, talking to him. He's like, "Get!" And then the T-Rex shows up and saves the day. It's like you took all of the scary out of this franchise.
I mean, I think speaking of Lost World
They
is
tried to put the scary back in with Fallen Kingdom, sorry, and they failed. They failed
failed.
so hard.
Lost World. Obviously also directed by Steven Spielberg. You're never going to recapture the first one. You can't. You cannot go back to the first time you showed a realistic dinosaur on screen to the world. And that movie's like the perfect storm. Spielberg back in the apex of his career. Like people forget that he Schindler's List and Jurassic Park, like they came out in the same year, basically. Like
They
whatever.
did. They
like
both came out in '93.
yeah, so it's like this is Spielberg at the top of his game. Was Lost World as good? No. There's some weird character choices with Malcolm and stuff, but there's some legitimately frightening things in that movie. The two T-Rex scene, the double T-Rex scene
Where they eat the guy in the car.
they eat the guy, they go over the cliff
Eddie.
in the RV, like all of that stuff. Vince Vaughn's in it for some reason.
Yes.
all-
He's such a lovable character.
It's not as good, but there's some
Yeah.
memorable Spielbergian.
I agree.
Spielbergian things.
I complain about Vince Vaughn, but I loved Lost World.
Yeah.
Talking about the scariness, there was one scene in the new one in Dominion that I thought felt sort of scary, and it was the Dilophosaurs. When
Yep.
Claire's like surrounded by the Dilophosaurs and you hear that there's a bunch of them,
Yeah.
I liked that. The music was really good there. I was like, oh, where's this been? I was like, where has this been? But the only thing that sucks about it is, so the Dilophosaurs have two scenes. There's that scene, and then they kind of show back up later. And,
Right.
and it's the same thing. You're like, oh, fuck, the Dilophosaurs are back. But then it's ruined because Owen just jumps in and like choke slams one. And I'm like, guys, what?
Who the
He
fuck
grabs
is
it by
this
the
guy?
neck. And
I got to talk about this real quick. I got to talk about Chris Pratt. I don't have an issue with Chris Pratt. I know some people, whatever he does in his personal life, that stuff usually doesn't translate to my opinion of people on screen.
Right.
Same with musicians. I'll separate the art from the artist unless what they do is so egregious that it's
Despicable.
yeah. Like Marilyn Manson can fuck himself, right? And also probably Michael Jackson.
He probably
too.
can.
Yeah. let's be
He probably
honest.
he cut his he
Jared
cut
He got his
Leto,
ribs
too.
taken out.
he cut his
No
ribs.
one's watching. I can say Jared Leto. Fuck that guy.
What do you mean no one's watching?
Oh, well, I guess we do have some watchers. Let me know if you agree in the
Talking about?
comments.
What are you talking about? This is a podcast that
I
will be viewed by thousands
I
of
forgot.
people.
We just didn't we podcast
Do you
last
think this
night?
is just for us?
Did you think this was live?
This was just us talking, right? This has just been us talking.
Okay,
That's not live.
back to it. Chris Pratt. I think he's charismatic. I think he's great in Parks and Rec. I think he's incredible as Star-Lord. Did they for this role of Owen throughout all three movies, his charisma is
Yeah.
gone.
He's
is
made of
like-
cardboard in these movies.
It's
Jesus Christ!
so-
It makes you think that maybe only James Gunn and the writers from Parks and Rec were the things making him funny.
I don't know, man. I think
That's kind of a harsh
Chris Pratt
accusation.
is a funny guy. Like, I think that he tries to play Owen as like the straight man, and it just doesn't work. Especially, listen, Sam Neill, that's the straight man.
Mm-hmm.
He is a man who he smells good.
Yeah.
You could just tell.
It's like when they made Ian Malcolm the straight man.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that what we're talking about? The basis of this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about characters in general.
It
Like,
just doesn't. Yeah.
like I don't like when the plot of this movie is that it's 3 or 4 years since Isla Nublar, Isla Nublar. Don't fuck with me. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
No, hey, no one's watching.
No one's watching. No one's watching. The volcano happens. The Lockwood Mansion incident happens. Dinosaurs are now roaming free amongst the people, which is cool. I think it's something I've wanted to see always in Jurassic World. And Owen and Claire are now together, which is kind of like, okay, that their whole dynamic that made him interesting was he was always chasing her and she was always playing hard to get.
I never found that interesting.
It's not very interesting.
I never found that interesting.
No.
Okay.
Oh, there was something I was going to throw on. I can't remember right
Well, I was just going to talk about how much I don't care about
now. I remember.
Grady. Oh, is that his name? Owen Grady? Grady
I don't
Owen?
give a fuck
What's
about
his
him.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
When he's riding a horse, like I just don't.
Oh, is he going to build a farm? Yeah, I don't care. The character that I actually cared more about this time around with this movie was Maisie, because I felt like in Fallen Kingdom they were like, she's just a clone. Look how it's just like she wasn't very human in Fallen Kingdom, and I thought she was very relatable in this movie, and I thought she kind of stood out. So I wanted to say that.
I mean, I think they back themselves. Oh my God, I hate the Lockwood cloning a human to save his dog. Like
that's
that
why they
is-
went in the direction of making her relatable and
like that works in a
having
novel.
emotions. And
Like
stuff.
I could see if Michael Crichton was still alive.
Well,
like,
they J.J. Abrams did.
Right.
It's almost as if Fallen Kingdom was the Last Jedi, and then they kind of went back
Right.
on the cloning stuff a little bit, and she's still technically a clone, but she was born of her mother, and they went through all these
Yeah.
things to show how she wasn't a perfect clone of her mother, how they were different, and like, yeah, it was
Right.
weird. Yeah, there's one big issue. If I'm nitpicking the things that I didn't like in this movie, talking about Owen, so in the first Jurassic World, his relationship with the raptors makes sense because he's been training them since they were hatched, and he has taught them hand signals and commands, but only that small group of 5 dinosaurs, all of which die except for Blue. So anytime in all of them, you always see him doing that fucking hand thing with Blue. Blue's the only dinosaur that recognizes that.
right.
But in this movie, he does it to every dinosaur he comes across.
Oh,
and
Jake, you're not familiar
and
with this
it
training method?
works. And it somehow works. And then all of a sudden, Maisie does it with the baby, and it works, even though the baby hasn't been trained.
Know.
And then he's
Owen's
got Grant
speak
doing
language.
it too. And you know, you know what? When something's written in a movie, then that's it, right? Like that takes out, like you might have headcanon or something, but then if
Yeah.
it's in the movie, then it's canon or not. And one thing that I thought going into this movie, which I still stand by, and I blame the writers for this, I don't think Alan Grant would like Owen. I thought it was going to be a lot of. I thought the fun part of the movie was going to be like a dynamic where Grant and Owen kind of don't get along, but by the end of the movie they like each other, and you know what I mean, because Grant is a real paleontologist and he knows about the real animals. These aren't real dinosaurs, but Grant knows about real dinosaurs, and he knows how dangerous and scary velociraptors actually were. And I always thought, like, if Grant heard that there was someone out there training velociraptors, he would fucking hate that person and be like, no, you can't train these. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But then in the movie, he goes, oh, you're the guy who trained velociraptors. And he's like excited about it.
I've
And I was
come
like,
to
no,
terms with that.
Fuck
that's
that.
not
I
how
can
it would
get
be.
behind
This
that.
is not a good this
Yeah,
was
Jake,
not.
Even Jake, if you were in Jurassic World universe, I feel like you wouldn't want to train either, because you'd be like, this is not like.
But why, even in Jurassic Park 3, like, why do they treat Grant like he's kind of dumb? Where they're like, there's nothing in this world that could get me back on that island. Like, next scene, he's on the
Well,
There's
here's
no
the
respect for
answer.
a character that is
Here's the answer.
probably
He is
the most
a little
respected.
dumb.
Well, he's
It's
a little
money.
dumb.
It's money.
Oh.
I think Grant is fine in this movie. Other than that, I do wish he had a little more to do. He's in the movie a lot,
he is.
but Ellie gets most of the actual work and dialogue, and I can't
She's
be
great.
mad.
Laura
I can't be
Dern's
mad
great.
at that. She is great. Her character is
She's one
great
of the
in this
reasons
movie.
I loved it.
I just hoped for more. I hoped more for the more of those like Grant moments where he has like, I don't know, where he drops some wisdom, or he's just kind of following Ellie around the whole time.
Dude, this
Even
movie...
JP3 had a really good. Sorry, I just totally interrupted you and stole the show. I'm so sorry. I'll finish quickly.
Well, hold on. We haven't heard your comment yet. Let's not say you stole the show.
Oh, I guess that's a lot of pressure. Jurassic Park 3 at least has that moment on the river with Trevor Morgan, and he like looks up and Grant's like having a serious talk with him, and then you see like all the dinosaurs that look like they're about to go on Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
but there's a subtlety to that, and Sam Neill talked about in an interview recently about how audiences won't accept a slower paced action movie. I don't believe. I think studios.
I agree with him though. I think I'm sorry to cut you off, Craig, but I 100%.
No, fine.
That's what we're
Everyone's
doing.
making a habit of
That's
it.
what we're doing.
I 100% think these movies are like this. I don't know that it's absolutely true, but it's like there's studio pressure to be like, well, there's got to be chase scenes. You got to be running every 10 minutes for, I 100% believe that like we do live in a world where movies are different now than they were 20 years ago. And it's like, you watch the original Jurassic Park and your two main male leads are fucking Alan Grant, Sam Neill, who's this like old Australian dude. And it's like, now it's gotta be Bryce Dallas Howard, and it's gotta be the two prettiest people you could fucking think of. In the original Jurassic Park,
and it's like, not good enough to be good looking. Bryce Dallas Howard also has to be like doing fucking Indiana Jones, jumping from
parkour
roof to
off
roof.
Of fucking exactly
That dude. Like, I really thought Colin Trevorrow was doing like. There's a portion of the people keep saying Fast and the Furious, and I get it because there's like cars and motorcycles. But to me, that was Colin Trevorrow trying to do like a Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Whoa!
It's like
100%.
Mission Impossible, or it's like it's like those Mission Impossible scenes, and it's weird because like one of the big things that I've seen people complaining about with this movie is that Fallen Kingdom sets up dinosaurs just out in the open in the real world.
Sure.
They released that, what was it, Battle at Red Rock or whatever?
Yeah, which
that short is amazing. And they reference it in the beginning of this. They show a clip of it. So they're promising you that that's what this movie is going to be. And the opening of the movie is that. And maybe the first half an hour of the movie is dinosaurs in the real world. But then quickly they're like, oh, so just to let you guys know, in this like, what is it, 5 years between these films, Biosyn has been capturing all the dinosaurs, putting them in a sanctuary. They've also created a bunch of new dinosaurs in 5 years. Biosyn has created a bunch of new dinosaurs, which are also in the sanctuary. And then halfway through the film, they just drop all 15 main characters into the sanctuary. So then it's just Jurassic Park again.
Let's talk about Biosyn a little bit. Let's kind of break down the characters. Okay. So we have Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill returning.
And they're great.
They're great. And when
the original cast is great.
And
similar to how the Rise of Skywalker had me feel like it's just good to see him on screen, kind of. It's a similar thing, but wasn't necessary.
But it's maybe feels a little hollow once you kind of start thinking. I mean, listen, Ghostbusters Afterlife brought back original cast in a
Egon was a little hollow too in that one. Because he's a ghost.
Because he's a ghost. I get it. I get what you're going with that.
Good pun.
Fun with puns.
Funny.
That wasn't a what?
Was it? It's a play on words.
No, but you know, in Afterlife.
No, okay.
In Afterlife, you've got the original cast showing up at the very end. This movie was more intentional about involving them in the plot, and I was happy about that. Like, I was excited that it wasn't just the original three are here to help save. Like, this movie made a point. Like,
they're doing their own thing. They're not involved. They're literally not involved with the Jurassic World cast in any way until their lives kind of just run into each other towards the end of the film.
And I will give a credit. The plot is interesting, right? These locusts that were manufactured by Biosyn that are basically destroying wheat crops or destroying crops and could potentially affect the entire ecosystem of the way food is created and consumed.
Unless you buy the bison seed.
Exactly.
It's like a classic 50s mad scientist plot,
Yeah, sure.
It
which
reminds
I was
me of
fine with.
Interstellar's plot with like we're running out of food.
That's kind of what they did, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Ellie's investigating it. She recruits Grant. You get that reunion with them. He's like clearly been thinking about her every day for 30 years. She's divorced now. When she said she was divorced, Jake went, yes.
Did I?
Yes.
It was
I
you and
did.
me.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. On the set.
Ian Malcolm is
Yes.
working at Biosyn as a guest speaker, but he's like undercover trying to out the system. He's working like there's some fun,
Which is
stuff
something
there.
something he would do.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're not going to create locusts, are you?
Like enjoy the free ride, but also take down the system.
Right. Chris Pratt is back. Bryce Dallas Howard is back. DeWanda Wise was the most substantial new character. She was the pilot that kind of is, she's not good, she's not bad, but then she goes good.
She's
She was a
definitely
very believable pilot.
I liked that character and I thought she was cool, but I also felt like she's completely pointless to the plot other than let's add another character. Like you can make the same movie without that character. It's just
Someone needed to save Maisie, and I guess I agree.
I
with you,
guess, but
I
but
mean,
she was fine. Like it wasn't. I didn't think that character was bad. It just felt like
Right.
we were piling up characters, I'm
And you
like,
had some
God.
of the other smaller characters
enjoyed
from the first two movies coming back. And then you have kind of BD Wong is back as Wu.
kind of.
And then you have Lewis Dodson, who is kind of the leader of Biosyn, portrayed as a Elon Musk tech giant kind of eccentric guy. Now, if you remember from the first Jurassic Park, we got Dodson here. This is the same character, different actor.
But now he's Steve Jobs.
I want to go on record. I hated it. I don't get it. I don't see that buffoon that was trying to. He never seemed like. Okay, let me talk.
It's
please.
a different character. It feels like they just. It feels like they wrote the movie and then at the end was like, wait, hold on.
What if this was?
What
Dodson?
if this was Dodson and they just changed the name?
When Dodson is meeting with Dennis Nedry and is trying to figure out how they're going to get the what do you call it? The samples. What are those things called?
The embryos.
The embryos. Yeah, the embryos into the Barbasol can.
Which somehow he has found the Barbasol can. That makes no. How did he find that?
Right. And like he's kind of like this little buffoon. He's wearing sunglasses and a hat. It's kind of like this silly thing.
It's like a putz.
Yeah, he kind of felt like the middleman, right? He didn't seem like
he works for the company, but he's not the
right.
Whatever.
So now years later, Biosyn, which is like the new whatever version of
the
engine.
new engine. Yeah,
He's not a gentle genius at any point in that.
No, and now he's kind of this like slightly eccentric, clearly does not have anybody's interest but his own at heart, or whatever. And it's fine, but it just to me it would have been like if they made like if they tried to bring a lot of reverence to Dennis Nedry as a character, like, oh, the what happened to his family after he died. Like sometimes you just gotta let. And here's the other thing: they did it for nostalgia's sake, or for nostalgia's for the sake of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are not picking up on it. Most people, like casual moviegoers, aren't going, "Whoa, that's Dodson from Jurassic." Like people aren't connecting that dot.
And not to go dark,
all.
but the real actor, there's kind of some negative stuff that happened. Some tough
Oh,
stuff.
right,
it's not like it's like he's someone who deserves to be remembered. Honestly, when I see Dotson, I'm like, oh, I remember how that actor went to jail for some bad shit.
Right, that's what you think about.
That's kind of what I was thinking about, yeah. And it wasn't nostalgic for me at all. I was just like, oh, fuck, I guess they're honoring him.
And I get it. They want whoever's running the new company to have some sort of connection or to be somehow involved in the Jurassic franchise from before, but I don't know if that really mattered much at all.
It's another thing that's weird about Bison to me is that Bison as a company has kind of been around like since the first Jurassic Park, and they've always been a weird, shady. They've always been the evil guys. So it's weird to me that now we're at a point where Bison is this big company, and nobody knows that they're the bad guys or they're shady or anything until this starts happening. It's like Dotson has been the bad guy since the first film.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's such a far leap. I feel as the three of us could edit a very palatable version of this movie if we had the time and
Yeah, I think so.
What's the deal with Colin? What's the deal with Colin Trevorrow? Like what? Like he was kind of handpicked by Steven Spielberg. He had a couple indie films. He was supposed to do episode 9 and they replaced him because they hated the script and all the Rian Johnson stuff. I mean, the crazy thing is this movie's making so like.
Well, of course it is. It's Jurassic Park. It's gonna make.
Why
money.
is Jurassic World made more in its opening weekend than Afterlife made in its entire run? And I get it. Dinosaurs are popular and the Jurassic Park movies are popular, but we're talking
art.
It's diminishing returns at this point. Like it's like at some point does the public have to go, we've seen it. It's not impressive anymore.
Hey,
I'm not
Craig.
Yeah.
There's like 10 Fast and the Furious movies. This is the kind of this is the kind of stuff that the general public likes. This is like this running around, jumping off of roofs. Like that's the kind of shit that studios push because the general public that are kind of dumb and aren't like, they're not the kind of people who are like, they just watch movies as entertainment. They don't care. It's not good or bad to them. They're just like, oh, well, he did a big jump. I like that part. Like,
whoa, maybe
that's why these movies do well. Like I'm going to go see every Jurassic Park movie. Also, there's no way this is the last Jurassic Park movie we
No.
There's no way.
I want to get to that. You all right over
I've
there?
just been freaking out over here. What I want to say is maybe the studios should hire someone different or like explore different stories instead of just having the same dude do the movie over and over and over.
But you guys are missing something. These movies are doing well, which means they're not going to change.
I know.
Jurassic
that's why
World
I'm angry.
did really
Actually,
well.
that's
Like,
why I'm angry.
I was the first Jurassic World. Like, if you go back and watch it, which I do periodically, it does have some dumb stuff, but it also does have a couple parts that remind me of Jurassic Park. Like, I think the first Jurassic World is a good film, but it gets crazy from there. And even there's some craziness in that movie. Like whenever all the dinosaurs get loose and they're like, the fucking pteranodons are dropping people into the mosasaur's mouth and shit. Yeah. It's like, this is silly, but that's what people like, and they do well. So they'll keep making them like this. Like if something's making a lot of money, there's no reason for them to change it up. There just isn't.
Right.
Where
I like that part in the movie too, though, Jake.
I mean, all these movies have stuff I like.
It's fun, but I'm just saying. I'm saying that's where the craziness starts.
I know. I was laughing.
It started there, and it ends in this movie with Claire doing, Ninja Turtle flips off a roof.
Right. Yeah, Mm-hmm. I was laughing.
Power.
Something else that I dislike about the new 3 Jurassic World films is that they do this thing where, they put a couple dinosaurs in this film that were a little more. They did feathers in this film, which is something that some people have been annoyed about the entire time. Not doing feathers on dinosaurs. And you know what? They put a Pyroraptor, fully feathered raptor in the film, and he's not completely accurate, but he's closer than what the other velociraptors are. There's a Therizinosaurus, which is kind of the guy with the fingers, the big freak. That's, fairly accurate to what those guys look like. But the issue is that Jurassic Park is really good when the dinosaurs are acting like animals act. In the first Jurassic Park, the T-Rex acts like an animal. He's curious. Right. He's looking for food. The brachiosaurs are up in the trees, just eating food, not giving a fuck about what's around them. They're acting as animals would naturally act. But the Jurassic World films have an issue with making their animals act like monsters,
Right.
and when you got like the T-Rex and the Therizinosaurus are ganging up on the Giga, it's like, that's not how animals act. Therizinosaurus is a herbivore, and yeah, thank you for showing us eat one leaf. But then they also show it like, slap a deer out of the way, and stalk Claire. It's a herbivore. Why is it stalking Claire? Why does it stab its finger? Like, dinosaurs don't team up on other like, that's not how, two different species of dinosaurs aren't teaming up to kill the big bad. Like, that's just not how animals act. And that's the thing.
That's what happens at the end of a Godzilla movie.
I'm feeling you so hard on
exactly.
this, Jake.
That's Godzilla versus Kong. And it also annoys me that they're going to try to make the Rex like, the big, there's this dramatic scene in this movie where you think the Rex is maybe dead, and then there's a slow close up on its eye. And then its eye opens up, and you're supposed to be like, yeah, she's not dead. But then it like needs, why does the T-Rex in the Jurassic World movies always need help to defeat the other? In the first Jurassic World, it needed the raptors and it needed the mosasaur to defeat the Indominus. And then in this movie, it needs the Therizinosaurus. It's like, just let it fucking kill something. It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It doesn't need help.
It's like they want it to be wrestling, or they're influenced by professional wrestling. Like, we've got to have a tag team here.
Yeah,
what do you think, Royal Rumble?
It's one of the things I really hate about this movie is that fight at the end.
Yeah, I'm so on board. Just wanted to echo what you're saying, Jake, because I know that the first movie was so important to me and really struck a chord with me because I believed the science of it. And I was watching it thinking, like, it piqued my interest in actual dinosaurs. I wanted to read about them and learn, because it was like, wow, these are real dinosaurs in this movie. They're treating it, probably because it's so close to the Michael Crichton work, and they had something like that to go off of, which was like factual. That's, I think, probably, in my opinion, why Jurassic Park had animals being animals, dinosaurs being dinosaurs. And now they've become like, well, what does the dinosaur mean to us now? What does the dinosaur mean to us in 2022? Are they a weapon? Like,
this is what I love about this. And this is what I love about the first Jurassic Park. And you're getting away from this core concept with each additional movie, which is Jurassic Park is rooted and routed in the thought of, what if this was happening in real life? What would it be like if we were able to bring back dinosaurs as theme park attractions? It's grounded in reality. It's grounded in actual paleontologists and a paleobotanist and a statistician and a lawyer coming to the island to assess this, and a couple kids. Think about the first Ghostbusters. Even though it's a comedy, it's grounded in some sort of reality. It's what I love so much about Afterlife, is that the fantastical elements add to what you feel for the characters, because you're able to kind of live in their shoes a little bit. Can't live, dude. Can I talk?
I'm sorry.
Do I get to say things?
You do. I just want to.
No, say it. Go for it.
I was just going to say that Ghostbusters does feel like it has that real hard science, because the supernatural takes place in like a library or like in a very banal circumstance.
Sure. And I think that the further you get away from that, and the more you adapt the Fast and the Furious elements, and the next Mission Impossible movie is going to they're filming in space. And they're going to do the same thing with Fast and the Furious. And that's probably where Jurassic Park's going. Like, they're going to be like, oh, we have to bring dinosaurs to the moon now. Yeah. And
it's set in space, or it's filming in space?
Tom Cruise, they're building a special capsule for Tom Cruise to go to space to film some scenes.
Yeah.
That's important.
But
that's what we should be doing.
That's what we should be doing.
That's what our money should be going towards.
That's what it should be going towards.
Yeah, that's cool. Just not enough food or anything.
There's not
food or
anything
homes
else going on in the world.
Tom Cruise.
But so listen, I believe everything we've been saying is accurate. I don't think the movie's great, but I did like Abby. I did have fun with it. There were things I laughed at. I did enjoy seeing the original cast back on screen. And I will say, most of the dinosaurs looked pretty great. There were animatronics on screen. The Dilophosaurs were animatronic. There was a full-size animatronic for the Giga. There were the Parasaurs, whenever he's like, when they're running with the horses, like that stuff does looked really cool. There was a lot of like good stuff to actually look at. So I can't, the Quetzalcoatlus on the airplane was really cool. Like, even though they made it 3 times as large as it is anyway, and it's a fucking giant, it's the biggest. That was the thing. Remember the statue we saw in the Field Museum that we took our pictures with? The real big. That's what that dinosaur was. But they made it like 3 times bigger than that, which is crazy. But I enjoy. Yeah, that's him. That's the guy.
Plastic.
That's the
the
guy.
wax statue.
I put a coin in and I got it made.
That is the guy. But yeah, but I did enjoy. There was a lot of new dinosaurs, and most of the dinosaurs looked great. I thought the CGI work on Blue looked bad. Every time Blue was on screen, I did not
I think it goes into the thing you were talking about earlier, which is like the original Velociraptors it's like you're watching a slasher movie. It's heart-pounding terror.
Yep.
Blue kind of feels like a mascot. The little baby's
Yes.
cute, but like that they're thinking like, oh, this could be like the new Grogu. Like they have.
Check it out.
We're gonna have Chris.
It's a baby.
We're gonna have Chris Pratt carry around a baby dinosaur, and then whoever's gonna look at him.
Babies are testing well.
Yeah, exactly. Our reporting shows that babies are testing very well.
I liked
Genius
Beta.
Boss babies specifically.
I liked Beta more than I liked Blue. Like I've never had any kind of emotional anything for Blue. I don't like friendly velociraptors. That's stupid to me. And I think the fact that Blue is blue makes it look less realistic.
Yeah,
like the fact that her coloring is blue,
she's got more blue.
Even though a lot of dinosaurs probably were like brightly colored, the fact that the Jurassic Park velociraptors are all kind of a dark gray, and in part 2 they got this dark orangish color, and then Blue's got a giant blue streak down her.
Hey, I'm blue.
Butt.
I got a baby.
I'm blue.
I'm blue, and I've got myself a little baby now.
Are you interested?
Oh yeah. Hello, my name is Blue.
Oh, you're doing that? I eat your Quetzalcoatlus. How do you say it? Quetzalcoatlus.
Pretzel.
Sure.
I eat your
Pretzel
Quetzalcoatlus.
So
these
listen,
Quetzalcoatlus are making me thirsty.
Okay, let's have some fun now. Okay.
Okay, sure.
That wasn't the most fun I've ever had.
Was it?
It was. I really enjoyed it.
Rankings. Where does Dominion rank in the Jurassic sextuplilogy? That's how you say 6 movies.
I would do. Anybody?
I'll jump in if you want me to go first.
Go ahead.
For Jurassic movies, favorite one, Jurassic Park, the original. After that, I would say for enjoyability factor, I enjoy watching Jurassic Park 3. After that, I would say Lost World. After that, I would say Jurassic World. After that, I would say the movie that just came out, Dominion, and then final would be Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think mine's similar. It would probably be number 5, and that's because I don't think anything's ever gonna. I don't think we're gonna get movies that have the same feeling as the original 3. And I genuinely think the first Jurassic World is a good movie. I would put this behind Jurassic World, so that would be 5. Fallen Kingdom would be the number 6.
Yeah, I would have this ranked 5 as well. I do not like Fallen Kingdom at all. It'll be hard for them to beat that one for me. First Jurassic Park. My ranking goes 1, 2. Probably Jurassic. I like Jurassic World as a movie more than Jurassic Park 3. I've got fun nostalgia tied to Jurassic Park 3. But the movie I enjoy. We were watching it last week on television till something happened.
I think
The motion flow.
The motion flow.
I think
thanks, AJ.
I also think Jurassic World is probably a better film than Jurassic Park 3, but I also enjoy Jurassic Park 3 because Grant is great in it, and he is Alan Grant in it. And if you listen to Sam Neill talk about Jurassic Park 3, he's like, yeah, it didn't do the best, but he genuinely liked making that movie. And our friendship with Trevor has brought me closer to Jurassic Park 3, and I do enjoy that film. I can separate the fact that maybe it's not the best movie, but I still really love it, and I would watch it over a few others.
Do you think it would have been more effective to have more meaningful to have Ellie and Grant and Malcolm come back for the 4th movie as opposed to the 6th movie?
Like if they were in Jurassic World?
That was the time to do it. World? I think that was the time to do it.
I would have rather. I mean, I think it would have. Yeah, it would have been great. I understand that it's hard to bring them back. Like the plot they went with, where they're reopening a park. I understand that it's hard. Like, why would the original characters give any kind of fuck about? They would be like, that's stupid, and they would want nothing to do.
They would be
with
like,
it.
hey, don't do that.
So I can understand that it's hard to find a place for them. Maybe. I think these movies. I think the way they brought in the original characters is good, and I think the way even though Dominion is Fallen Kingdom is all of our least favorite film, I like the last 3 minutes of that movie. It's a voiceover. That movie is bookended with Ian Malcolm in a court trying to kind of plead the case about the island. Right. And that stuff is good. It's very good. And it makes me think of the original Jurassic Park. And that movie ends with Ian Malcolm talking about how bad of an idea all of this has been while you're seeing dinosaurs, show up on the mainland.
Right.
And I think the way they've brought in the original characters, it works for me.
Right. I just want more subtlety. I love the first 35, 40 minutes of Jurassic Park. Obviously you start with the Muldoon Velociraptor, like sets the stage that there's shit going down. But then you've got all the scenes in Montana and Ellie and Grant having like their chemistry, Hammond showing up, getting to the island. It's literally a perfect film. Like it is. So
like
awesome.
I'm so mad that Steven Spielberg has, I don't know, 3 at least perfect movies that he's made.
Right.
3 I can name off them. Yeah,
sorry,
and some people would argue that he's got a couple more, but
the
Jurassic Park is it's in my top 3 of all time. It's a perfect film. It's hard to follow that up, and I whenever the first Jurassic World came out, I knew but even before seeing a trailer, I had to tell myself like, look, Jurassic Park it's up there. Like there's not movies like that anymore. Right. It's a rare thing, and it's hard for movies to be that satisfying. And I was like, I had to tell myself before Jurassic World came out, like, don't expect this to be exactly like that. It's gonna be we're 30 years in the future or 20 years in the future. I understand how movie making is and how studios are nowadays and how they kind of push certain kind of things in movies. So I remember being like, I'm going to have to give Jurassic World a little bit of leeway because it's not going to be that. And I think I've enjoyed the third, these 3 films a little more than I would have because I've told myself like, you gotta chill out a little bit.
Tempered expectations.
So I think it's safe to assume that there's going to be more Jurassic films. There's going to be more movies.
I think so at some point. Like I don't know that there's a plan. I think it's going to end up being another. Colin Trevorrow, I think has said he's pretty much done, and to their knowledge, it was just going to be the end of the franchise. But it makes a lot of money, and I don't see a studio. I just see a studio being like, all right, well, they're done. We'll just start again with someone else. You know what I mean? They'll get someone else to write a sequel, and they'll get somebody else to direct a film, and
hopefully someone like interesting.
I mean, besides Fast and the Furious, the Jurassic and Fast and the Furious are Universal's 2 biggest money-making properties. Like, there's going to be more movies. Let's talk about this before we kind of wrap up.
Yeah, we got Trix Jurassic World cereal right now.
We
It's
do.
everywhere. Yes, we know.
They're not for just kids. We like them too.
They're not for rabbits.
What do we? What like in your ideal world?
Yeah.
What and assuming there's going to be more movies. Like forget saying I don't want any more. What would you like to see ideally going forward? What is there an angle? Because I've got like 3 or 4 things spinning in my head, but I don't want to sully anybody's ideas. So,
Okay.
have you thought about this at all?
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
If there was like a rescue rehabilitation program for dinosaurs that have been through a lot, I would watch a show about that, like almost like a sanctuary for dinosaurs. That I know nothing other than that. That's just my idea I had.
Just like a nice, pleasant.
You want to see dinosaurs go through therapy.
Exactly. And connect with human beings and help them, and that connection.
Do they
be
talk
important.
in this? Do they talk in this world, or is it still?
No, it's that hidden language
It's just
of like
Jake.
you and a horse. Or
No,
you and
it's
a
just
dog,
this.
like-
It's just a lot of this.
Jake getting on an airplane with his support velociraptor.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What can we actually understand about dinosaurs? Or how can they benefit? How can we benefit them?
All right.
I think that could be something.
We can
It probably won't be.
We can
If anyone's
benefit them
watching,
as food, and that's
Hit me
it.
up about rescue. What am I calling this? Rescue Dinosaurs 911.
Okay. Jake, have you thought about this at all?
I mean, if it was my ideal world, and I could get anything I wanted, I've said this before. I wish that they would give it a little bit of time, and then I wish that they would do like a HBO limited series and just readapt the book accurately to the book. It would be rated R because the book is got some pretty brutal stuff in it. But it has there's a lot of differences. The characters are pretty different than what they ended up. Steven Spielberg has this ability to take, like, I'm rereading Jaws right now, and Jaws and Jurassic Park, the books are both great, and the stories are, basically the same. But when you watch Jaws and you see Brody and Ellen love each other, and it's like kind of heartwarming, and Brody's like, he goes out on the boat and he doesn't really know what's happening, but he wants to learn, and he's an endearing character, and he's a good guy. But then when you read the book, he's like daydreaming about how he wants to punch Hooper in the face and feed him to the shark, and he's like, everybody sucks in the book, and everybody's
isn't the mafia in it?
The mafia's in the book that's a little more human, and the Jurassic Park is the same way. The characters aren't so lovable and endearing, and Jurassic Park, the book, opens with a baby being eaten in a crib, and there's a whole plot line that the dinosaurs are getting off the island before the power goes out. They're already figuring out ways to get. There's a lot. They go deeper into the sick Triceratops and why it's sick and what
Hammond
that means.
is a little bit more evil.
Hammond's
corrupt.
Hammond
Thank
is
you for bringing this up.
he's a money he's a money guy, and like character deaths are different. Ian dies in the first book. They bring him back in the second book, and they have to retcon. They literally have him being like, "Yeah, well, I died for a little bit."
Hammond dies in the first book.
Hammond dies in a really gruesome way. Like, a lot of people die. It's scarier. There's more dinosaur stuff. There's a lot more dinosaur stuff. You learn there's more real science in the books, and I think it would be cool if a limited TV series just adapted the book. I feel like if you did that for Jurassic Park, and I would feel the same way for Jaws. If you come out and say, oh, somebody's remaking Jurassic Park or someone's remaking Jaws, then my first reaction is like, well, fuck that, it's gonna suck. There's no way it's gonna be as good as the original. But if you're adapting the books, the characters are different. Everything's different. There's room for both of those things to exist, because it wouldn't be a remake of Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park. It would be a readaptation of the book.
Yeah, similar to how The Shining has Stanley Kubrick's interpretation, and then there's like a live action TV show that you and I have seen. That is, that's the actual story. Like the story that was in the book.
Sure, but that's kind of a bad. That movie
is-
sucks.
I know, 'cause
though,
it's-
so that's a
I
bad.
know.
That's a PG
Shouldn't have brought it
13
up. Shouldn't have
movie
brought it up.
of an NC
But it was
17.
filmed at the. You're right, but it was filmed at the Stanley.
If you had like a somebody with a vision, a writer director who really wanted to stay super faithful to the book as far as like tone and character goes, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
If
If
no go.
I was just gonna say, like, if that's not my option, if that's not an option, and it's something where they have to make another film based off of the films we have, I'd be okay with that. But I would want it to be super toned down and maybe, I've mentioned this before too, but I really love that movie Baby, which is all about a couple trying to rescue the last brachiosaur or a
Mhm.
patasaur. It would be really cool to watch a movie where Grant and Ellie have to they have to try to get this dinosaur to safety, and it's the last one or something. You know what I mean? Like something that's toned down. We don't
Right.
need 50
Intimate.
different dinosaurs.
Afterlife.
Make the stories, yes, afterlife it. Make the story still make place in the world of all 6 movies, but just take the scale down a little. It doesn't have to be so crazy.
We don't need to
Everything
be in a
doesn't have to be
rush.
so
I,
fast.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to keep the franchise going, scale it back a little bit, but still retain the nostalgia.
Yeah.
I want to see a movie about a team of like researchers
hmm
who basically are doing like an urban exploration of the original island
Oh, sign me up.
after the events of the first movie.
They
And
could
just-
do. Go
And
ahead.
just have an
Finish.
adventure, like
Yeah.
just to have
Almost like Annihilation style. Like
sure, but like
I love that movie.
I mean, something where it's like you don't necessarily have to worry about all keeping up with all the plot points and all the development. Like
or the
have,
end of the world.
have it take place in like 1997 or 1998, and just have it be a contained story in the Jurassic universe.
They could also do something like that, and they could pull in the elements from the book where it was more of the sciencey stuff or finding out about the dinosaurs getting off island. You could pull that stuff into that story. They could be like, oh, that they could find out secrets or whatever. They could find out information about whatever dinosaurs are still on the island at that point. I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
it'd
think
be
we
cool.
got a movie cooking up here between our ideas.
Or I
think
mean, maybe
it's
it's about
hilarious.
Dotson, sending in a team to retrieve the
The can.
the
Yeah.
can.
Oh,
Somebody had
that
to
sounds
do
like a
that.
Star Wars move.
Or
It's
Here's the
Rogue
move.
One of
It
Jurassic
is.
Park.
Like we know how this goes down.
Here's the move. Legacy sequel to the first movie that ignores 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like
Halloween.
Halloween and
2, 3, 4, 5,
Terminator
and 6. You mean?
or whatever. This is the real sequel to
Probably
Jurassic
not going to be
Park.
good. But go
No.
ahead.
I mean,
We need
listen,
original stories.
they're going to continue. They're going to continue it in some way. I think though that this original story has kind of. There's not really anywhere to go with it at this
There's
point.
not. You
They've
have to.
exhausted it.
You got to think outside the box, and that's what's so funny about Dominion is that a lot of people, myself included, were like, "Well, you know what? They finally figured out a way to get it out of this park setting, the dinosaurs in the real world. Now they can finally open up their plot."
Mhm.
And then they ended up just dropping them all into a sanctuary and doing
Right.
Rebuilding the
the
park and
same
having
thing
it
again.
in the plot.
Yeah, I think
Totally
it's gonna.
agree.
I think it's gonna be. They're just gonna have another person try to open a theme park on Site B.
I would watch a movie about a theme park being constructed and the concept being developed regarding dinosaurs and what happens behind the scenes. That's interesting.
Here's what it is. It needs to be like a
Like
Tiger
theme
King.
parks.
It needs to be like a Tiger King, like all these roadside dinosaur parks.
Yes, and that's where my
And-
rehabilitation
the
center
battle,
idea comes in.
the
because
battle
they get
between the
something.
different corrupt, trashy owners of these parks.
Yeah.
Come on down to the Arkansas Dilophosaurus Sanctuary. It's a spitting good time.
She fed her husband to those velociraptors, I swear.
Best raptors are
His
in
body's
Tennessee.
out there in the back somewhere.
You listen here, Lewis Dotson.
I'm going to put one right between your eyes.
That's a great one. Then you have a story about a special dinosaur that gets swept up into that world and needs to be rescued. There's Baby.
Then there's Baby.
And then there's Baby.
Ellie and Grant shutting down all the roadside dinosaur zoos.
Hey, even Bryce Dallas Howard, I would watch her do that as Claire.
I'm done with that.
Actually, yeah,
I can't
fuck.
deal with the
Had enough.
with Owen. When Bryce is there,
Yeah, I don't
Chris
care about
Pratt's gonna
Owen.
do this.
I like that scene at the beginning where she's like in all black, and it's like it felt to me a little bit like how people, will try to like rescue cows off of farms and stuff. Where she's
right,
like,
where they go rescue.
she's in all
She's the
black and she
PETA.
goes and they rescue the. Yeah, I like that. I would watch that
I
kind
thought
of shit.
that was pretty cool too. I bet she could write or at least direct episodes with herself in it because she's done it before.
Yeah. Well, listen. Here's the deal. You're always gonna have fun watching these movies, right? You'd have to be pretty. Like I've seen some people going really, really hard. Like this is like, this is not supposed to be high art, right? Like it is what it is.
But hold on.
Sixth movie. In
Let Jake make a speech. I know what he's gonna say.
Here it comes.
It's
Here
weird
it
because
comes.
like part of me wants to agree with that, but also you have to judge a movie based on the best movie in its franchise. And Jurassic Park is high art. It is the highest of art. It is amazing. It is well done. Everything about Jurassic Park is well done. If it was done once, that's the standard. You can't make a shitty movie and be like, yeah, but it's a dinosaur movie. No, Jurassic Park exists and it's perfect. So you can't make another movie and say, oh, but it's just a dinosaur. It's just a silly. No, it's in the Jurassic Park franchise. That's what it's. That's it.
But I don't think that
Preach,
they.
Jake. I'm glad.
Here's
you got
the
to say
thing,
that.
though. Here's the thing. When they're brainstorming the movie, when Colin Trevorrow is developing the script, I don't think they're approaching it with this thought process of like, how can we regain the reverence and the specialness of the original? I think they're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have a motorcycle chase through the middle of like Rome and have Claire jumping from building to building? Like, I think
someone was like, what's like the coolest place we could put dinosaurs? What do y'all think?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a part in the movie where when that's happening, when that chase scene is happening, Owen comes around a corner and there's like an Allosaurus and there's another dinosaur. I think maybe it was a Carno, but anyway, there's a guy on a scooter, like on a, not like a motorized scooter. No, it's not a motorized scooter. Okay. It's like a
razor scooter.
Like a razor scooter.
Oh.
And he's razoring in between these two giant carnivores, and the Allosaurus like eats him.
Yeah.
But it's like, what did he think he was doing? Why was he that? Why was he on his razor scooter?
Someone should.
He's like, hey, someone film me do this.
Someone should warn that Allosaurus that there could be razors in his candy.
What are we talking? Allosaurus have razors? Oh, the razor. Oh, okay. Razor scooter.
Hey, that was.
Do they have feathers? Do they have razors too?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They had a razor because of the feathers.
I don't know.
I mean, listen. I will be very interested to see where it goes. I won't be surprised if they're just like, hey, Colin Trevorrow is producing another one. They're going to find a new director, and it's going to be out in 4 years, and it's just going to be more
bullshit.
Bigger, bolder, bigger dinosaurs.
Brighter bullshit.
I love the first Jurassic Park. I like that there's only like 6 or 7 different species of dinosaurs. Each one is treated with so much respect, and you learn a little bit about each one, and there's these really touching character moments. And like, that's the Spielberg effect, though. That's not something that every director, like, we just saw Afterlife, right?
Yeah.
We just watched it again out at EctoFest, but like, clearly Jason Reitman, and I listened to a really great interview with him from 2018 where he talks about his movies and about how no matter what movie he's making, he was talking about Juno, and he was like, Juno is not about teenage pregnancy. He goes, that is, the setting is teenage pregnancy. Juno is about what it's like to grow up and what it's like for a female
coming of age tale.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
I love Juno, y'all.
No, it's good.
It's great.
I know.
I'm trying to make a
it
fucking point.
Sorry.
God,
Sorry.
what'd you drink? Some coffee
Yeah.
through your nose?
No. Stop. You know me. Don't say that.
Listen, Juno is not about teenage pregnancy. Juno is about the maturity of a female teenager versus the maturity of a male teenager and growing up faster than they're ready for, right? And he's talking about all of his different movies, right?
Yeah.
And say in this was before Ghostbusters, but with Ghostbusters Afterlife, the movie is not, going back to the original tagline, which, by the way, if anybody goes back into our archive, 2019, where we review the first teaser trailer, we're all trying to predict the plot of Afterlife, and all we had was the original log line, which was a family moves back into a farmhouse and discovers, clues about their past. And we were like, that's not what the movie is. But that is what the movie was about. But
No way. No way Bill Murray's in it.
right. But it was about character,
Yeah.
and it is about character, and it's about this family. And when we talked to Jason Reitman, he talked about generational forgiveness and the coming of age thing that Jason Reitman is that's the kind of movie he likes to make. You can find thematic human elements in the original Jurassic Park movie, right? We talked about it earlier.
Yes.
Motivations of each of these characters, right? Grant is somebody who's holding on to his profession and his passion of paleontology and looking at these dinosaurs and being amazed that they're there and that they exist, but knowing in his gut that they're not really,
shouldn't be treated.
They shouldn't be here, and they're not really dinosaurs.
And he's stepping up to have a parental role for the kids.
Exactly,
Lex and,
exactly.
Tim. Yeah, he's changing as a person because in the beginning of the movie, he wants nothing to do with kids. He says that babies smell.
they do.
If you haven't seen the movie,
correct.
Yeah.
And Ellie has her motivations, and one of the key moments at the beginning of Jurassic Park is where Hammond gets frustrated because he's like, "Fuck, I brought you dinosaur people here to be impressed, and you're all shitting on me." And it's like it creates this tension. No matter what movie I see, like I want that character development. I want to buy in to the motivations of the individual characters. By the time you get to the 6th Jurassic Park and Owen's, riding a horse, lassoing whatever those dinosaurs were, and there's a cloned kid, and it's too much for me at that point.
It gets really far away from what you were saying, which is the distillation of Jurassic Park. The idea of, can you contain chaos? Can you take the beautiful,
clearly not,
the beautiful and the wild and the exotic and things that we don't really understand, and can we put them under man's control? And the answer is no, never. It always fucks up. And I don't think the last movie was really about that. This Dominion was kind of about like Italy and James Bond.
It was about Italy.
Yeah.
It was about Italy.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, I'm going to give you the final word before we wrap up here. Are you going to see this movie again in theater? Or are you going to wait till it's out on streaming?
I would. I'm not sure. Maybe once we get back from our trip, I would like to see it again. There are some interesting moments in it. There's a whole scene, with like underground dinosaur fighting, and I thought all that stuff was kind of cool. Black market, weird. There's definitely some cool ideas in it. There's plenty of stuff I enjoyed, and there's plenty of stuff I disliked. I would like to see this in the theater again. It's as far as we know, it's the final film in the Jurassic Park series. So I owe it respect. I do want to check it out one more time and get another grasp on it. And there's also just things I would like to see again. There's some good visuals and there's stuff I enjoyed. Is it great? No. But I can't say I'm not excited that it's 2022 and there's a Jurassic Park movie in the theater.
I think my favorite scene is Ellie and Grant having to put on the bio suits and try to fight because it's so weird and different.
The part where Grant and Ellie have to put on disguises and fight giant grasshoppers.
Yeah,
that's a real thing in this movie.
I liked that because yes, it was different. It was wonderfully different.
It was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wanted to echo Jake, your the dinosaur underground gambling thing. I liked that a lot and was interested in that plot line. And I thought the aesthetic reminded me of what you've shown me of Dinotopia, kind of. Like it just reminded me a little bit of it.
Dinotopia is what... God, wouldn't it have been cool if it was just more like Dinotopia, where people and dinosaurs have actually had to learn to live together and like people are, literally living in societies where they have to interact with that. Now I'm annoyed. I'd rather make a Why isn't there a Dinotopia movie? Craig, you're always saying that you think it's so weird that Jurassic Park is the only dinosaur movie. And
I do think that's weird.
I saw somebody else mention that recently. Somebody on Twitter made a post about like, apparently when Jurassic Park was made, the entire filmmaking community had to make a pact and said, all right, this is it. We can't make any other. If you go back before Jurassic Park, there's a lot of dinosaur movies being made. You know, there was, especially in the like 50s to the 70s, there's a lot of like older horror films where it's like, you know, The Land That Time Forgot or Valley of Gwangi, or there's so many movies that involve dinosaurs that would have been a bit. Dude, Valley of Gwangi is.
I love
that Valley of Gwangi is this small movie that takes place like in Mexico or something, and they find three dinosaurs are hiding out in the chaos that ensues because these three dinosaurs exist. Remake that and call it Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a big world fucking spanning thing.
Three dinosaurs and one tiny horse.
Three dinosaurs, a tiny horse.
Here's the thing, though.
I had a thought.
What
do you want to go?
Well, I was going to say one thing. Jurassic Park kind of has a kind of capitalized on dinosaur movies. Like, you know what? You also don't see movies about people hunting and capturing ghosts, which is a fun concept that could be explored in different. You don't.
Right. Yeah.
Because everyone would go, whoa, what do you think is this, Ghostbusters?
Yes, because honestly, the special effects that happen in Ghostbusters and the special effects that happen in Jurassic Park almost made ghosts the exclusive property of Ghostbusters and dinosaurs the exclusive property of Jurassic Park, because everyone's probably like, why the fuck should I try? It won't look that good.
Yeah, but like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are so drastically different from what dinosaurs actually look like.
Drastically different. I think you said Jurassically different.
Jurassically different.
I love
I like that word.
They're and you know, our knowledge of dinosaurs now is very different than it was in 1993.
Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like the thing that's exclusive to Jurassic Park is let's genetically engineer dinosaurs.
Right.
Make a movie where it's like you fell back in time, or this dinosaur somehow never died out. It doesn't have to be genetically engineered. There's a million things you can do. There's a story in Abby, that book you gave me that you got in California.
Yeah.
All the dinosaur stuff. There's a story in there. It's mine now. There's a story in there called A Sound of Thunder. I don't know if you read this one.
Is it Ray Bradbury?
It's Ray Bradbury, and there is a movie called A Sound of Thunder.
Okay.
Very loosely based. The movie's garbage, but the story is that it's in the future. A company has made time travel, and or time travel exists, and one company that's popular is, we'll take you back in time. You kill a dinosaur. You shoot a dinosaur if you want. Yeah. But it's very specific. You got to stay on the track. Kill only the dinosaur we tell you to kill. And it's a T-Rex. And the thing in the story is that there's this one like trophy hunter guy who's like all full of himself, and he's a fucking piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And he's like, just talking like a big game. And then when he's there and he sees a Tyrannosaurus Rex, he like shits himself, and he's like, this is terrifying, and he's like, I want to go home. Like he has a breakdown because of how scary the dinosaur is. Make that movie. Yes. Somebody give me that movie.
That concept is awesome. I love that. I want to see that person, that man go down.
I want to see that.
I really want to see him scream.
Well, listen, everybody, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad we could get our feelings out for Jurassic World Dominion, and we'll see it again. If these movies, once they hit cable, streaming, they're on a lot. Cable? It's like this thing that has FX. You see it at the hotel.
Oh,
Jurassic World.
FX. I remember that from nostalgia.
Like practical effects.
I remember that from nostalgia
Nostalgia.
as a funny sentence. And yeah, we've got Martha's Vineyard coming up next week, but we'll still be dropping podcasts. We appreciate everybody's support.
Dropping
podcasts, and we appreciate everybody who has signed up for Patreon. We have a lot going on Patreon. We did our bonus Extreme Toy Anxiety this week, our Toy Anxiety after show. We have bonus audio content dropping all the time.
From this episode, even.
And from this episode, you're getting this early and ad-free with additional content at the beginning. We appreciate everybody's support. And if you want to learn more, you can sign up at patreon.com/yeshavesome. And no, we're not going to put the entire podcast behind a paywall, but we do like doing additional content for our supporters. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Exactly.
I will say this. I know we have not. The original plan was to do an Obi-Wan after show like we did for Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian season 1 and 2. We have not been able to do that because of our extremely busy schedules. But the finale is next week. The plan is to do a recap, and we'll have Ryan on, and we'll have Troy Benjamin on, and we'll all be able to have a
We'll
nice.
be on too.
We'll be on there too.
It's probably it'll be an extra. That's gonna be a big, thick episode.
It's gonna be like $75.
It's gonna be. Yeah, it'll be $100. I mean, you're getting
$100.
Troy. Listen, we
Troy
can't
Benjamin's
just
out
give
of
out
retirement.
Yeah,
free
Troy
Troy
Benjamin is
Benjamin.
not cheap.
Cannot give out.
Are we?
Troy
Is that going to be a live episode? You think, or are we just going to?
We'll probably do a
record it?
live stream. Yeah.
Do a live
That sounds
episode.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay.
That'll probably be early the week we get back. So
Obi-Wan therapy time.
Obi-Wan therapy.
Yes.
Obi wonder why they did that.
I love it.
That's the name of the show. Yeah.
And and then we've got Comic-Con coming up. We've got Thor: Love and Thunder coming up, and all the normal stuff we've got going on.
How about Obi? Why the fuck was the last episode so good?
Let's do a fuck budget next week.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
it's been so long.
Well, I mean, next week we'll be in Martha's Vineyard, but next like real show.
We'll do it.
cool. We
Do a
could
fuck
do a
budget.
Martha's Vineyard fuck budget. We'll see. No, we're on vacation.
How many
Good.
fucks do you? All right.
We'll do
It's
a
gonna
Martha's,
be like $100 if you want that.
we'll do a Martha's Vineyard fuck budget, and all of the categories are all right. Well, how many fucks did you give South Beach?
How many
how many
fucks do you have?
fucks
What
did you
do you
give,
care about sand?
A little bit sandy. I don't like
It's-
sand.
It's
5
just
bucks.
5 different beaches. So.
I'm excited. It's going to be good. And we appreciate everybody hanging out in the Discord on Patreon and on Instagram and,
Mhm.
and Facebook group therapy.
Mhm,
We
mhm.
love you guys.
Mhm.
And Shear's flying. We got more shit to do.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said this year is
Oh,
flying.
this year. Okay.
It
I thought you
is.
said cheers.
It's almost July.
I know.
It's about to be
nuts.
Dragon Con.
I can't wait.
It's going to be Horror Nights.
It's all good things.
When do we take a break?
You guys doing
Never.
any new costumes this year?
I'm
Fuck.
thinking about it because I don't.
What are you
I
thinking
have.
about?
I want to.
I mean, I don't. Okay, I'm thinking about doing costumes, but nothing specific. I like doing costumes. Hal Clay's going to be there with like 10 great costumes. Going to be
I
mad. that
know.
didn't
I
do
feel
it.
like
Yeah, I
if
should
Hal's
start
being
now.
there, I need to redo my Hobbit feet.
Okay.
I think I want to
I
do
want
a
to do
Hobbit.
I want to do my Hobbit, but I need my feet were they were barking.
That I bet that inspires me, Jake.
Like a
I think I
dog.
would like to. I've always wanted to do Mary or Pippin. Probably Mary.
Yeah. Okay.
So I might do that.
Oh, and I'll be Rudy. What's his name?
Sam.
Samwise Gamgee.
Sam. Rudy. No, I'm going to
I'll
be
tell you- I'll
Samwise
tell you.
wearing a Notre Dame jersey.
I'll tell you the reason I did just generic Hobbit is because it gets expensive when you want to start
Dude, the real
being
Alright.
if you want to
Get
be
accurate.
you want to
Be
be
casual
Mary
Mary.
and Sam and get the costumes that they're wearing, then
I'm gonna be
it
Mary
costs
inspired,
3
Mary
times
like.
as more.
You'll be Mary Sue.
Yeah.
A hobbit with a crazy amount of power for no reason.
It's just a Hobbit with a lightsaber.
Somehow I know everything, and I fix things.
I'll be like, hey, I'm a hobbit. Which one are you?
Mary Sue.
Dale.
A dyad in the Shire.
I'm a dyad in the Shire. Are those movies good?
I love
Yeah, the
those
original Lord of the Rings
They're
movies
so
No,
are
I'm talking
good.
about the
Yes.
sequel.
Oh,
trilogy.
Star Wars. I don't want
Fuck Hobbit.
Don't bring that up. I
Wait,
don't
what are
wanna
we talking about? Fuck the Hobbit trilogy and also the not Force Awakens.
Force Awakens is great.
Force Awakens is great.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Ray when I grow up. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. For Abigail Gardner, Jacob Walsh, my name is Craig Goldberg. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at YHS Podcast. And we didn't even acknowledge it, but we're recording this on Ghostbusters Part 2 day.
It is. Go watch it.
Thing. I've been watching it for 3 nights straight.
I've seen a lot of Ghostbusters too.
I've been watching it for 37 years straight.
Whoa.
Well,
wait, 33
ish.
years.
It's not been out. Yeah.
33.
I was saying. Yeah, 33.
And now that Jason Reitman's going to make a second Ghostbusters movie, I want to know which national monument he's going to have in there. Maybe he'll have Mount Rushmore.
That was going to say, like North by Northwest, maybe Mount Rushmore.
All 4 heads.
It's the 4. No. It's just It's now the 4 Ghostbusters.
That's such a good idea.
Yep.
Dude.
Lucky Podcast. McKenna Grace.
And Abby
and Abby and Jillian Hudson. There's so many Ghostbusters. Can I just give a shout out? I don't know if they listen regularly, but Logan Kim's parents. Listen, Logan Kim's great, but Brandy and Doe, unbelievably cool people. Love them so much. Sure. And it's been really cool getting to know you guys. And I'm so happy for Logan Kim. What a great situation. You're in high school, you're in a Ghostbusters movie, you're about to be in the sequel. Who knows what else he's going to be in? Like, he's doing a convention. This is just cool. Yeah. So shout out to them.
Yeah. And to his brother for graduating.
No, just being accepted into college.
He got accepted into college.
I thought he already graduated.
Hey,
sorry.
good
job. He's young.
Good job, though.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, great job. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody next week. And you know that old saying, if you go to Martha's Vineyard to see a shark, don't fucking go near it.
6 more months of summer.
It's called Martha's V.
If you go into Martha's V and there's blood in the water.
Oh, stop.
I wish I wouldn't have said that. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, bye.
Have a great vacation, family.